Hey, what's up? It's Mark at Alchemist.camp, where we learn Elixir and Phoenix by building things. But not today. Today is just an update, and it's mostly about 2020. So first of all, happy 2020, everybody. Hope you have great plans for the coming year and decade, and that you just had some nice holidays. I've got a few goals or plans. I guess kind of a mix between a plan and a goal. First one is just to be a bit more active, just a health goal. Like I used to be a pretty competitive endurance athlete. I did both cross country and swimming, and throughout the years, I've always stayed pretty active to differing degrees, both endurance and power sports and casual stuff. But this year I haven't, or I should say last year, 2019, I really just hung out in my apartment and sat on a chair and did a lot of reading, a lot of coding, a lot of screencasting, but and all that's great stuff. But this year I'm going to try to get out at least 2 out of 3 days and do some moderate to intense physical activity and eat a little better and all that. But that's it's not really that kind of goal. It's really more just about activity. And on the Alchemist camp side of things, I've got a few goals or plans or mix between them, whatever you want to call them. The first is, actually, let me get to requests. The first is I want to get through my request backlog a bit faster. I really appreciate all of these requests. It helps me know what people want to learn. It also helps me prioritize stuff. Sometimes I've got something that I've discovered and I want to share with people, and that's easy. But other times, I don't really have something that I'm dying to teach, and there may be 5 or 6 different things I'm considering, and this voting mechanism makes it really easy for me to tell, which one to prioritize. And one of these here, live view, I actually accepted this one. Like, it won the vote more than a month ago, which is why it's not number one, even though another one has more votes and more priority. I still haven't released the first episode of it, and the reason for that is basically that I've been worried that live view wasn't stable enough, or wasn't settled enough. I guess that's a better word for it. As a learner, I've used a lot of other similar to Alchemist Camp resources. Right now I'm subscribed to Laracast and GoRails and one for Vue.js, and it's really it's really annoying if you go to one and they have a whole bunch of videos that are out of date. Like I tried one for Elixir a few years ago, and literally the first, I don't know, like 15 of, I shouldn't say literally if I'm not exactly sure, but the majority of the episodes I saw wouldn't run on my computer because they were from an earlier version of Elixir. Fortunately, Elixir hasn't been changing so much recently. In fact, to the best of my knowledge, every single episode's code will still run, even if you go back to the really old ones. Like you still have the same language features in Elixir now. Maybe there's a code formatter, which will make it look a little different than it did here, but the same code still runs. The one part that's been a bit of frustration for people is Phoenix 1.3. Understandably, some people want to use Phoenix 1.4, and even though all the code in this Phoenix 1.3 app, StatWatch, still works with Phoenix 1.4, and I actually upgraded it to Phoenix 1.4, the generators for Phoenix 1.3 and for Phoenix 1.4 are a little bit different. So, if you're just following along and typing exactly what I typed, you're not going to get quite the same code as I did, because you're using a newer version of Phoenix that puts stuff in different places in the generators. So, or I should say, from the generators. So it's it's something I've been conscious of and trying to avoid. because you can't update videos very easily. You basically just have to redo them. But on the other hand, a lot of people want to get into live view, and I don't blame them because it's pretty exciting. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to break this into multiple projects. I have already started a first live view project, and that's going to be free for everyone. It's going to be a simpler project. I've already started recording it, so you should see the first one this week. Then I will do a more complex, longer project that some or all of will be premium. With Absinthe GraphQL, I'm going to do the same kind of thing for a different reason, and that is that it's just a gigantic topic. I've already been using it for over a year, and it's stable. I'm not getting breaking changes or anything like that. But there are just so many different ways you can interact with Absinthe, and it's not something that I can just make quick 5 videos and cover all of. After that, I'm gonna go through and see what else is popular. There's obviously a lot of spread between what people want. There are a few things like I don't know anything about Oracle Cloud free tier. I might refund that vote, but in any case, we'll get to that when the time comes. I am going to focus on getting through more of these because they're a lot piled up, which gives me a lot of motivation to get on them quickly. And also, I know people are anxious and want the material. The other material that I'm going to be working on is stuff that's come up from my own experience. And one thing I've done with Alchemist Camp specifically is I moved all of my email service from MailChimp to ConvertKit. And then after that, I started getting more into segmentation. So you may have noticed there are all these request a free email course links here. This is a fairly new thing, but I've taken several people through it. It's not fully automated yet, but I basically find out, how much Elixir does a person know? Because that's the most important thing, obviously. Otherwise, I can't really know what to recommend them. And then, say they're just starting out. What are they doing now? Maybe they're Ruby dev or JavaScript dev. And if they're interested and they sign up here, give me their email, then I'll send them specific recommendations, both from Alchemist Camp material and some other materials when necessary. And I think it's a bit more helpful for people than just sending everyone the same email, or you want to target stuff, because I know I have had my annoyances with people that just email me about everything. So that's one thing I've worked on, and in the process of setting that up, I had to make a hook controller. I had to receive webhooks from Typeform and parse all the data out of that. Apologies for the noisy motorcycle outside. And then I also needed to send that to ConvertKit and update the subscriber information there, so that I know who wants what from me, and also so that say if I send out an email to people, if I know that somebody only wants to learn about, say, JSON APIs, or they're not interested in anything else that Phoenix can do, then I might send a different link to them than I would send to someone who really wants to use LiveView, for example. So that's the thing I've been into, and I'm actually thinking about open sourcing the wrapper library I've written for ConvertKit's API. That would be interesting because I haven't done any open source anything for Phoenix yet, or for Elixir at all. Just older stuff back in the day, pretty much all JavaScript. So that is a minor goal. Then the last thing is the other projects I'm working on. So I've got the main thing has obviously just been Alchemist Camp. The next thing I started working on late last year was or I should say maybe mid to late last year, was a starter kit for people building like a SaaS app or a membership app on top of Phoenix. So that has been kind of a slog, and I've had to change the scope of it. But I do have the first part of that done, which is an event analytics setup, so that you can just out of the box have your events sent off to an event analytics server, and then you can later query them based on what you find out you need to know. For example, you could send events on every time a page is viewed, or every time someone purchases something, or every time they share something. It depends on the kind of site, but usually you'll have like 5-ish events you really care about, and then later on you'll find, I really need to know what are the 5 pages someone visited before they canceled, and you didn't know that was what you were looking for beforehand, but you can get that if you've been sending cancellation events and view events, for example. So that is the first part, and I've been using it myself for Alchemist Camp because my previous event analytics provider raised their prices so much that it's $150 a month for me, even if even though I only have 10 to 12,000 visitors a month, and so that was untenable, and I switched to my own. It's been working so far, but I want to hammer on it a bit more before opening it up to others, since that's the kind of thing where it's got to be more stable than a pure content site like Alchemist Camp needs to be. After that, I'll go back to the rest of the starter kit. So it's going to be a busy year, a lot of stuff to do. I don't mind that, and I'm hoping to find some time to go to the US and go to an Elixir conference. That's my plan for the year. How about yours? Let me know in the comments. See you next time.